Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Are you ready? Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Good to see everybody. Here's Smokey somewhere here. Busy and sunny, nice day here in Maine, but busy. I'll tell you, the rain and all that we got last couple of days. No more snow, all gone. No matter where you go, it's just gone. And not that we had a lot anyway. I mean, it was only like maybe 2.5 inches on the ground. So I mean, any rain that would have lasted as long as it did, which a day and a half. I mean, that's just gonna go. And it ain't really cold, but it's supposed to drop down quite a bit tonight, so it's gonna be cold tonight. But you know what? I found out, and this is my fault because I don't really read things that are printed on boxes when I buy stuff. Okay, but I was looking for some light bulbs, and I went down to Dollar Tree, and they had some light bulbs there, which I thought they were like those kind of light bulbs that are supposed to be energy efficient, where it doesn't take a lot of energy to and they're bright. Well, I needed new light bulbs for the hallway, the porch rather, that goes outside, because the bulbs were burnt out. They had regular fluorescent ones in there, but I mean they lasted a while, but they went out. So I went and took it on myself to get new bulbs. So I went down there and I bought a couple of those bulbs they had down there, which I thought were energy efficient. I put them into the hallway light fixture there, and it worked fine. I turn the switch on, they come on all right. So I was fine. Well, I left the light on and forgot to shut the damn thing off last night. So when I went outside and I stepped into the hallway, I looked up. I was like, wait a minute, did I forget to shut the light? So I looked inside and the switch was up, so that meant that the light bulbs were on, or supposed to be, but they weren't on in the hallway. So what the hell, they burn out? I said, come on, So, I went, unscrewed the thing, the glass fixture there, so I could get into the bulb. I unscrewed the bulb. Okay, I looked at it, didn't look burnt out. Okay, and I screwed it back in. Okay, then I came back inside, turned the switch on, and it came on, and then it shut off. I was like, what the hell? I said, did I get a defective bulb or something? Well, it was smart enough. I bought more than one. I got 4 actually, so I can have extras. But so I took that one out, put a new one in, turned it on, come on, and then it shut off. I'm like, what in the hell is this? So I looked at the goddamn box that the bulbs were in to see what, and on the box, it says that the bulbs actually turn themselves off when there's enough light. You know what I'm saying? So during the morning, they'll shut off when the sun comes up. And then at night, they turn themselves back on. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I said, I didn't even know they made bulbs that did that. So in other words, you screw the bulb into the fucking thing, you turn the switch on, and you leave it on. okay? Because it needs to have power in order to turn itself off and turn itself on. So you just leave the fucking switch on, and you put the bulbs in there, Okay? And sure enough, it's dark, bulb's back on. And I'm like, I didn't even know they made bulbs like that. But, like I said, I'm still old school thinker where I'm still buying, stuff that, you turn it on with a switch and everything. Okay, I still think in that way. But apparently these days now they make special bulbs that or smart bulb, I guess is what they call them. They make these bulbs that can turn on and off depending on the level of light that's in the area or around it. Okay, so I'm like, okay. But at the same time, I'm thinking, well, if you leave the switch on, doesn't that defeat the purpose of making it energy efficient? I mean, because if you're still cycling electricity up there to the bulb, well, that means then there's still power running through it, okay? So, I don't know. Does that mean it's still eating power or what? I mean, it doesn't work like a fucking, like a pipe for water, okay, where you just shut the thing off and the water stops, where it is. I mean, electricity's still cycling into, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Okay, I don't know. Anyway, now I figured it out. So I didn't buy defective bulbs. It's just special bulbs that do these things on their own now. So I'm like, okay. So basically, I did get the right kind of bulb because it is a porch bulb. Because, when you're in the house, you don't want the lights to just flicker on, Okay? You want the goddamn things to when you turn them on, to stay on, right? When you're in the house. But if on the porch, that's different. Because you could forget that you shut the light off, but the bulb will turn itself off in case you forget. So it's actually a perfect bulb for the porch. And I only paid $1.25 per bulb. So that's that. Anyway, I got a couple of videos. This first one here is about talks about how Trump is backpedaling from the fact that he's now saying that he can't guarantee there's going to be lower grocery prices. And maybe that's because people have been educating him somewhat on what the hell a tariff does. It's sad that this guy is like MAGA in a way. He's finding out after the fact that, hey, you've been going around telling people you're going to put tariffs on this and tariff. Do you know what happens in the aftermath of putting on tariffs? And apparently, we're supposed to think that he doesn't. I don't know. Maybe he really doesn't know what a tariff is, okay? Maybe when he did businesses and stuff like that, he never had to deal with things like that. So this is like his first time, maybe. I don't know. Because he's, like I said, he said in one interview that he didn't believe that it would affect prices of things here by putting a tariff on incoming shit from China, or Canada or Mexico or whoever else he wants to hit. But apparently, he's acting like, well, now I don't think I can guarantee lower prices at the grocery store. So, a lot of people in MAGA are getting ugly and upset about that now. It's like, boy, I'll tell you, the buyer remorse here, and he hasn't even sworn in yet, is just flooding all over the country. I mean, the MAGA people are just going fucking apeshit every fucking day. And I knew this was going to happen. I fucking knew it. They sit there and they were laughing at me and everything's, oh, you lost. And now who's laughing? Now who's laughing? You guys got exactly what you wanted. You fought hard for it. And you tried to rub our nose in it. And guess what? Karma is coming back around. You guys getting what you deserve. So anyway, let's go to that video here and we'll meet you on the other
Trump
side.
is starting to already backtrack on his promise to bring down the price of groceries. But I would argue that this election was never about the price of groceries. It was never about that. You have a lot of Americans that say, I don't like the personality, but I sure do like the policy. And I would argue they like the personality, that they really, really like it. What are your thoughts on that?
What cracks me up is when people say, well, I like Trump because he says what everybody's thinking. I'm like, if that's what you're thinking, you're beyond fucked up. But I, too, do not believe it's about the price of eggs. I am not one bit surprised that he is now admitting he can't do anything about inflation, because what Biden did leads the world in recovery from COVID. And there's no question that these tariffs that he's going to impose are going to raise the cost of groceries even more. But here's what I struggle with on this whole thing. He lied. I think the people who voted for him knew he was lying when he was talking about it.
Of course they knew he was lying. Everybody knows he is an objective liar. It's objectively proven that he is a liar. Of course, the situation is nobody cares that he lies. Nobody cares. They don't. What they like about him is people are mad. And he says things and he sticks by it. For example, I'm going to release the January Sixers. He said it. He's beat that drum. He made a stupid song for them. And now he's come out and he says, I'm going to do it within the first 9 seconds. And I was watching corporate media last night. And it's like, oh my God, Donald Trump is going to release the J6ers within the first 9 minutes after being inaugurated. Can you believe it? And I'm like, yes, I can. And here is the lesson. He said he was going to do it. He stands by it. Is it cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Yes. But what people like, even though it's immoral and or amoral, they like that he just says it and it's not bullshit. And he just beats the drum and he does it again and again. I found this clip really interesting. So this was a story on CNN, and this is regarding immigration. And they interviewed a farmer in South Dakota, and I want to share this with you and our viewer.
What percentage of your workers are not U.S. born?
Probably half.
About half?
Yeah.
How many hours does this go on?
It's 24 hours a day. You know, we could milk 8 hours a day, but it wouldn't be feasible or profitable for us to produce milk.
So you need workers like this year-round?
Yes, yes.
Governor Kristi Noem of South Dakota, her farm is just a few miles away. This farmer who voted for her, who voted for Trump, who still supports them, doesn't believe that they would round up immigrants and ask them for their immigration status because it's an open secret that farms in this state are held up by undocumented workers. Are you worried, like some of your other farmers, that if there were a mass roundup of undocumented migrants, that you might lose workers? You might not have enough workers.
Well, the question I asked, how are they going to do that? Within 2 days, we will not have food. There will not be food anywhere.
2 days?
Yes. That's why I predict nobody will be filling the shelves, nobody will be producing food. If we once have to shut down and be gone, it's never coming back.
Does Governor Noem understand that?
I would think so.
You have a lot of faith that they're not going to do what they're saying.
That's pretty much what I'm thinking. So we have to trust in our officials that are put in place.
Okay, so think about this. He has total clarity about immigration. He has complete, crystal clear knowledge of immigration and its impact on the economy, and not only the supply chain that gets essential food to the American public. Yet, he's voted for Kristi Noem, who killed her dog, but that's neither here nor there. He voted for Donald Trump, who incessantly, persistently, constantly talks about immigrants poisoning the blood of America in an ode to Hitler. And he goes on and on and on about rounding them up, deporting them, deporting the whole family, regardless of their status, etc. And this guy says, with a straight face, they know they can't do that. And then he says, but we also have to trust the people we elect. I'm dumbfounded at this. I am absolutely dumbfounded that somebody has that kind of clarity and goes and votes against his economic interest for the likes of dumbass Kristi Noem, who is dumber than a box of hot rocks, and a mentally ill person, Donald Trump.
What I look at that, I am just so, I'm like, you have this clarity, but you just don't think he's going to do it. And I'm like, he said he would overturn Roe. He overturned Roe. Believe what he says. He will do it. I think that the reality is, this is an open question for me, but the reality is these people know exactly what he intends to do. They either think that he won't do it or that it won't affect them because of their business, or that they're special because he protects them. So I don't know if it's denial, cognitive dissonance, don't care, arrogance. I don't know. I don't know what the root cause of it is. But I look at that and I think, and I shouldn't feel this way, but I look at it and I think this is the fuck around and find out portion of America. We have now fucked around and we are going to find out. We are going to find out that tariffs, in fact, are a sales tax that the American consumer will pay. We are going to find out, in fact, that immigrants add to our economy with their labor. We are going to find out that we are far more dependent on immigration than we think. And they are going to be dire revelations, according to this man. But I don't get it. I'm so completely unable to understand why somebody would do that.
I think that it's deeper than all of this. We can sit and say, he's going to raise tariffs, it's going to raise prices. He can do this, he's going to do that. This has been a decade-long phenomenon of this man. And is it something way more nuanced that you have talking heads that look like us that are in our tax bracket trying to explain to the majority of Americans that are working class people, and the wealth disparity continues and continues and continues. And you have on the coast these Ivy League educated, sleek, metrosexual men explaining policy to them. Or you have Trump that goes, I'm going to go around and I'm going to do all of this. And does he just speak their language? Does he speak their language? And, Biden did a lot of good things, but for the last year of his presidency, it appeared that he was bumping into walls. Mm-hmm. And we lost a lot of credibility with the public with that. Mm-hmm. He should have said 2 years prior, I'm a one-term president. I want a robust primary. And I think that degradation to the Democratic brand really was damaging on the electorate, and the right-wing media echo chamber pounded it and pounded it and pounded it about Biden. So by the time they switched, Kamala made up some ground, but that 2 years where the right-wing media, every little misstep that Biden made was amplified and amplified. And there's no question. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, oh, yeah, he seemed 100% with it all of the time. He didn't. He seemed old and oftentimes like, oh, God. Sometimes he would speak and I'd go, oh, my God. Oh, my God. And is it fair that Trump says even crazier shit and gets away with it? No, it's not fair. But Trump's craziness felt like he was alive. It felt, even though he was like, Hannibal Lecter, he said it, and Hannibal Lecter. And he said it with kind of this liveliness. And so I think it's a deeper thing. I don't think this election was ever about grocery prices. I don't think it was ever, I do think for a portion of the American public, there is a big white supremacist lean, and that they have a huge problem when they see people with brown skin in grocery store lines speaking different languages, because I've witnessed it. I've seen people get riled up, and I've seen the racism, and I've grown up around the racism. And I do think that issue caused a huge, huge problem. But why didn't the Democrats have guys like this, a farmer, talking nonstop? Instead, the right baits us in to talk about trans issues and all of these wedge issues. That trans issues don't impact this farm.
No.
In South Dakota. I just think that the autopsy from all of this is the Democrats have got to message better, have got to consolidate an echo chamber. And I do think Biden should have campaigned the whole time he was in office. Now, am I talking about campaigning for his next reelection? No, I'm talking that everything has changed now. We're in a post-Trump America. And after you get into office, you have to take victory laps. You have to, celebrate in the end zone. You've got to, because the American public wants to be endlessly entertained.
Right. I totally agree with that, especially when you have an electorate of young people that all they've known in politics is Trump, his crazy antics and his animation. I mean, the dignity of the office has been gone ever since he started tweeting policies on Twitter when he was in his first election. It really is, though. I just get to the point, though, like you're talking about the right-wing media. All they do all day long is complain about how terrible Biden is and how great Trump is. How are they going to whitewash that when things go belly up? Or are they? Or are they just going to pee on your leg and tell you it's raining? Because that's what they've been doing.
They're going to do exactly what they've been doing. Exactly what they've been doing. We already know what they're going to do. Look at January 6th.
Right.
They flipped it to where somehow the FBI and Antifa did it. I mean, it's just, it won't matter what he does. And he said it in 2016. I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and my supporters will still vote for me. And truer words have never been spoken from that man's mouth. He can do all of those, everything that he does, he can do with impunity because the right-wing media worships him to a very bizarre level. They no longer care about accountability, and they have to keep the American public's eye off the ball all the time that Trump is consolidating billionaires at the top of the government now that only have the interest of less than 1% of the American population. And they're going to bring up all of these social wedge issues, drag queens, trans people, gay people. And they're going to say, oh, there's this alphabet mafia. And they are with the immigrants and they are terrorizing the United States of America. Meanwhile, the real terrorizing is coming from corporate America. Corporate America is causing the most harm to people. Why? When inflation caused groceries to rise, the most obvious thing that Congress could have done would have been to raise wages. That was never an option. Never an option, because we always have to give deference and worship to corporations and their shareholders, and they have gotten the American public to buy into it. And this farmer that knows that if he deports people, that his business is going to go belly up, and he says, I know, it's like, I know that he has to tell the people in my community that are dumber than me. That's what I interpret that as. I know that Trump and Noam have to tell the people that are dumber than me, we have to get these immigrants out, but they're not going to do it because we all worship money too much. That's the message there.
Oh my gosh. It's so true. It's so true. I did read in the Time article also that he said, we've just got to get away from the social issues, all of the culture wars. And then it's like he spent $40 million talking about trans people who affect none of the issues that we're talking about. They don't affect immigration. They don't affect tariffs. They don't affect anything. And the hypocrisy, it just makes me think people don't care. They just don't give a shit. That's just what I've come to. They don't care.
All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow.
Get over that farmer. I really can't. I mean, if all people who should know what immigration, deporting immigrants would result in, I mean, he would know, right? And Trump never made it hidden that he was going to deport immigrants in his campaign. He said he was going to do this. And yet he still turned around and voted for this guy. And I'm like, why did you do that? No, it's because he has faith that Trump won't do it. Faith. Here's that word again. Faith in the wrong place. Faith in the wrong place. Having faith in the devil that he's not going to fuck you in the ass, Okay. Why do people wish for difficult times? Why do they delude themselves into thinking bad people are going to be good people? Give me a break. This farmer is as dumb as they come. I mean, if he voted for Trump, he's definitely a MAGA nut, okay? And he ought to know better, because he was around doing the same fucking job that he was doing in that interview when we had Trump for 4 years the first time around, and look what he did to the fucking farmers in that tariff war with China. The soybean farmers, okay? They were decimated. They're still recovering from that. But this guy who's a farmer, I mean, what? He doesn't talk to other farmers? He doesn't ask them how they're doing? I mean, come on. I thought farmers were like unified or something. They're all part of a cabal in this country. You know, so what? He doesn't listen to these farmers that fell on their ass during the first Trump administration or something. I mean, that's the very definition of a MAGA, is to close your mind off to the realities around you, and hope on faith that Trump won't fuck you in the long run. Well, your hopes are going to be dashed. We could have told you that. I mean, I think we were telling people that. You vote for this guy, you're going to fall on hard times. Everybody, even the economists, every fucking economist out there was saying it. The only ones that weren't were people working at Fox. And of course they're going to say good things about Trump. They're paid to. Jesus. And so, naturally, you know, this farmer here, who laid out exactly what's going to happen when they start deporting immigrants, is that, you know, he could lose half his workforce. And, hey, he ain't going to find no fucking American that's going to work doing that kind of shit. You know, maybe, if at times get really desperate, which Trump is going to make them, maybe people will be so desperate for a job that they'll take anything under his presidency. You know, he'll turn, you know, Americans into desperate, hungry people, where they'll work for 5 cents an hour. But that's the kind of America he's going to create. But you know, like he said, if we lose half our workforce, I can't make as much milk as I can, you know, right now, and provide to the stores, and the price of the milk will go through the roof. And some farmers would probably just close up altogether because the cost of running the farm would be too much, and he just wouldn't, you know. So we'd lose some farmers. We'd lose more food on the shelves. The prices of what is on the shelves will go up. And if you people thought it was so terrible under Biden, you ain't seen nothing yet, okay? You're going to be looking at those Biden years as, you know, the golden years of American history, because they will be the last golden years this country will have. I'm telling you right now, it's just around the corner. It's just around the corner. What's going to happen here in this country, because you can only make people live in terrible times for so long before they say, fuck it. My life ain't worth squat living in this country the way it is now. So I'm just going to take up what I can and forfeit it by taking somebody out, you know, just like that guy did in New York. You know, what's the point? You know, and people will just revolt, you know, because hey, what else is there to live for? Would you rather suffer for the rest of your life, or would you try to do something immediate to make a change and make life easier for your next generation of people? You know, that's the kind of that's the kind of thing that we're always constantly running into as humanity evolves, is that when we try to create a society, or a better society, we always have to, because change comes slow and a lot of people don't like change, we always have to push our way, sometimes violently, through those barriers in order to come to the other side and see that, oh, well, you know, we were we tried to fight this for nothing. It turned out okay. You know, that's what we have to do, because you cannot make people, you can't tell people to enlighten them. They have to be dragged into it, kicking and screaming, in order for them to see that you were right. Okay, just like what we're going through right now. We tried to tell MAGA they were wrong to support Trump. They wouldn't listen. So they're going to drag us kicking and screaming into the Trump years again. And they are going to find out that, yes, we were right, you were wrong again. Okay? Just like the first time. So, like I said, when we go through all that shit, 4 years of that, and I don't know how bad it's going to get, people. I can't tell you that. But I can tell you is that cut back on your frivolous spending for the next 4 years, okay? Cut back big. You had any idea of buying a new car? Forget it. Put that on perpetual hold for now. A new home? Don't. Stay where you are. If you got a roof over your head right now and you can afford it right now, stay there. Don't try to go buy a house unless you've got 30 or 40 grand floating around in a savings account somewhere to maintain that house. Stay away from buying big ticket items for the next 4 years. You're going to need that money just to buy the basics to survive. Okay? Cut as much cost as you can. People that have internet capacity, okay, and other people can pick up your internet on their devices and stuff. Talk to your neighbors and stuff about sharing your internet, and and each of you pay half of what it is that it costs to have it. Okay, so say like, okay, I got internet, and my neighbor can pick up my internet signal, but they don't have the password, so they can't access it. Well, I could talk to that neighbor and say, look, you can have my internet service, and you can shut yours off, and we can just pay together, half and half. That'll help both of us to cut costs. Think about doing that. Help out your neighbors. It works better in an apartment because you're really closer together than you would be over house to house. But, on internet router, I mean, there's a big bubble around that encompasses. I mean, I could walk out into the parking lot and still be able to access my internet from in the parking lot. So that's how big it goes out. So why does every apartment have to have its own internet? We can all just, collectively use just the same router, every apartment or every other apartment down. We can actually share it. That's an idea right there for, if you want to cut costs. So, you got to start thinking about that. Coupons, yeah, a must. You're going to need coupons for a while. But, just think like that, okay? And online, there's always some advice on how to save on this or that or anything else, okay? Look those things up, all right? And just, watch your spending. Watch your spending. That's going to be a must for the next 4 years, because I'm telling you right now, people, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good at all. This is really going to be bad. So, yeah, and another thing too, if you have property, if you have a house, think about planting a garden, vegetables and stuff like that. Try to grow something, all right, for yourself. And if you got too much, share with neighbors and stuff like that. There's a couple of homes right in town here that do that. They got a huge front yard, and they converted it into a great big garden. And every summer, they got a cute little wagon out front with all kinds of vegetables on it, and they sell vegetables, from their yard. That's good, makes them money, and they share with the community. Everybody's going to have to start pulling together here and start helping each other out. Okay, stop being isolated from your neighbors. Okay, start getting to know them and start, work together, for Christ's sake. Jesus, we did it before during the Depression. Why can't we do it now? Jesus, it's not impossible. All right, let's go to a commercial break.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me!
This is me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
Hello, I'm Patrick Stewart. I believe in helping people in crisis, whether they are from Lebanon, Ukraine, Gaza, Sudan, or any troubled area around the world, I ask you to join me in supporting the International Rescue Committee's life-changing work. The IRC is on the front lines of humanitarian crises, and IRC teams stay on the ground as long as they are needed, so displaced people can rebuild their lives. Your support today matters. It can provide medicine, emergency food, critical supplies, and many life-changing programs. It is a gift of hope when families need it most. I've seen the difference caring people like you can make. So please, if you can, make a gift right now.
America's men and women in uniform need real leadership at the Pentagon. Character, courage, honor, experience. Those are what a real leader brings to the fight. Pete Hegseth isn't just unqualified to be Secretary of Defense. He's embarrassing, sick, struggles with alcohol, drunken rages in bars and strip clubs, fired from 2 veterans organizations for financial and personal misconduct. While at Fox, Hegseth paid off a woman after she reported he sexually assaulted her. Pete Hegseth's own mother calls him an abuser of women. These aren't the qualities of a leader. They're weaknesses for our enemies to exploit. Pete Hegseth isn't just unqualified. He isn't just unprepared. Pete Hegseth is downright dangerous for our troops. He's a risk America can't take.
Shit. Pants, please. One day, you're gonna get caught. One day. Nice luggage.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it. It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Welcome back to the show. Yeah, I have another video from Midas Touch, and they're talking about this. I mean, I don't do my own taxes, okay? I have an account that does my taxes for me every year, okay? But for a lot of people, they've been using a system that the IRS has, and it's called a direct file. It's a free online system that a lot of Americans have been using to file their taxes. It's real simple, and they have you know, people you can call if you're having any trouble with it to help guide you through the system. And it's saving people money because, you know, if you pay somebody to do your taxes for you, it could be pretty expensive, okay? And so people were using that, and they liked it. Well, now they're talking, Trump wants to get rid of it. He wants to shut that down, that whole fucking system right there that people have been using. Because people have been going to him bitching that, oh, I'm seeing a reduction in customers. People ain't coming to me anymore for their taxes. It's like, well, maybe, you know, I'm sorry, but, you know, Christ. But no, Trump he's listening to that. And now he's going around talking that he's probably going to end up getting rid of that, you know, as soon as he gets sworn in, okay? This guy's going to be busy on day one because he's promising everybody all kinds of day one things that he's going to do, okay? So no sooner is he going to take the oath, he's going to have to run right to the White House office and start signing this, signing that, an executive order, this and that. He's going to be all day busy writing shit out to placate all the people who've been helping and supporting him. But he wants to get rid of that thing, or, you know, he says he's gonna. But apparently the Republicans themselves are being pressured by private, what do you call it, tax filers or something like that, to get rid of it because too many people are using it and it's taking away from them. And it's like, oh, gee golly gosh. You know, you poor fuckers can't compete with the federal government, so you're going to tell us to shut it down, right? You know, why is it we can't shut down the healthcare industry because they can't do their job and the government can? And when I say the government can, I have evidence to prove it, okay? Okay? You know, you got the VA system, which has been doing a stellar job here for the most part, okay? It ain't perfect, but it's been doing its job. But here you got horror stories from the private sector of the healthcare industry and CEOs getting shot, okay? And grievances galore that goes across the political spectrum. You know, but do you see the government going over there, knocking on their door and saying, shut that system down? No. But no, when it's the other way around, they come banging on this government door to, you shut that down. You know, government and business should be separate, period. Okay, I'm sorry for those of you that don't think that should be the case. I do, because we see what it's done to this country. Okay, we've lost our democracy in this country because now all we got is business telling politicians what to do that doesn't benefit us. That's not a democracy. That's not even how a democracy is supposed to work. Minority should not be ruling the majority in that fashion. Okay? The majority is the working people. Okay? The minority group in this country, they're the wealthiest, but they're getting all the breaks at our expense. And we let it go on because we're told that it's the right thing to do. Trickle-down economics, remember that? Some of you? I'm old enough to remember that. Too bad Reagan isn't still around to see how stupid that was when he said it. But the thing of it is we knew even then that was not going to happen. People were realistic about how people are, about how humans are. When people are wealthy, they don't want to give it up, right? It's like, no, I'm not giving you a goddamn thing. This is my money, you know? They see a poor person they could make a poor person, you know, a homeless person on the street overnight a millionaire. Just give them $1 million. They can lose $1 million. Just give it to a homeless guy and $1 million. He could, you know, he'd take him right out of the fucking streets. But what do? They drive right on by and they keep on going. So are these people who are going to trickle down their money to the working class in this country? No, that's not them. That's not who's going to do that. They won't do it. What you give them, they keep. They sit on it, and they sit on it, and they sit on it. They make dynasties in their families by sitting on money that they could be trickling down for the rest of the country, but they won't do it. In their mind, oh, you just go to work. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps. It's a verbal way of cracking the whip on the slaves, okay? That's what they tell us. They're cold-hearted selves telling us how we're supposed to live. You know, we don't, you know, and these are the same people that don't think we deserve our Social Security money back that we've been paying into. They call that, oh, that's a, what do they call that? You know, I can't remember how they say it, but they totally redefine what Social Security is, and they make it seem like, you know, we're supposed, that's a government handout. It's not a government handout because we put the money in the government's hand to give back to us. Entitlement, that's what they call it, an entitlement program. That's the wrong word for Social Security. It's not an entitlement, okay? It's not taking money out of someone's pocket. That's taking money back that we put in from our pocket, okay? That's like a savings account, okay? That's like saying, oh, your savings account is an entitlement program and you don't deserve that money. What would you think if your bank told you that? If you drove up to the window one day, can I take $100 out of my savings account? Bank says, oh, no, we can't give you that. That's an entitlement. You don't deserve that. That's the same fucking thing with Social Security. That's our money. That's our fucking money. Okay? We put money in that system. It's supposed to come back to us. That was put there so that way we just don't, when we, you know, lose our jobs or something, we just don't end up destitute right off. We still have money that we can draw from to keep us going until we get another job. Or if you're retired, 65 or older, whatever, you can retire and can collect a monthly pension from that, okay, whatever little there is of it, but, you know, you get something back, okay, that you put into it. But, now, you see, the rich want that money for themselves. That's why they're trying to cut it. They're trying to get rid of it, okay? They want to take that money that's already in there and basically steal it, because you can't steal something that isn't there. And if there's something there that they're going to take, that means there's money there that's owed to the people that put that money in there. That's their savings account. You're trying to make it so you can steal that. Okay? That's not your money. That's theft. You know? And I don't see how anybody can look at it any other way. You know? You can't call the police and say, oh, they stole my Social Security money. Or you can call the police if the bank tries to steal your savings account money. Maybe they do something. But, you see what I'm saying? I mean, everything is tailored so that way the rich can get away with all kinds of shit. But they're never going to help anybody out. And so, anyway, let me get to this video here, and then we'll come back and let me
share with you another item that MAGA Republicans are targeting for Donald Trump to cut and get rid of on day one. It is direct filing with the IRS. Yep, the IRS's new free tax filing service, otherwise known as Direct File, MAGA Republicans say should be eliminated right away. Why? Because it helps people. It's free. And the MAGA Republicans have been lobbied by industry tax consultants who say that this is hurting their business. I want to read for you a letter sent by 27 Republicans to Donald Trump. This is something that Trump will likely do, and his new IRS commissioner, MAGA Republican Billy Long, will do. But I want to show you, it's important that we discuss this in detail so you understand exactly what's going on here. So here's the news. MAGA Republicans Adrian Smith and Chuck Edwards wrote Trump a letter today urging him to terminate the IRS's new free tax filing service, otherwise known as Direct File, on day one through an executive order. It's co-signed by 27 House Republicans. Democratic Congress member Don Boyer says, Direct File is a clear success story of making government better. The IRS made a free, easy-to-use way to file taxes directly. People who use it love it. But wealthy corporate donors are losing money, so Republicans are trying to kill the program and make filing taxes harder for the rest of us, not the billionaires who can have their fancy accountants. Elizabeth Warren previously wrote, shocker, the CEO of Intuit, the owner of TurboTax, doesn't want you to know that they're lobbying to make your life harder. So much so that they asked a podcast to delete part of his interview. Give me a break. Whether he likes it or not, the IRS is, or at that point was, expanding free direct file. And the news at that time in October was a corporate public relations firm for TurboTax berated a journalist for asking a tough but fair question about the company's lobbying against free online tax filing, and then demanded that the outlet delete that part of the podcast. I just want to show you this letter from the MAGA Republicans because this highlights yet another example of where Democrats have worked to make government work for we the people, whereas Democrats are focusing on what can be delivered for the rest of us. The MAGA Republicans are saying that's what needs to be targeted. I've done lots of other videos, of course, on MAGA Republicans attacking Social Security, attacking Medicare, attacking veterans benefits, right? That's the first thing that MAGA Republicans do when they get into power. The first thing Trump wants to do when he gets in power is attack vulnerable people, attack their services that they've paid into, and attack services that help them while giving tax cuts to billionaires who then inflate their net worth by hundreds of billions of dollars, quite literally hundreds of billions of dollars. Let's take a look at this letter. This is from Adrian Smith and the MAGA Republicans to Donald Trump. Dear Trump, we write to urge you to take immediate action, including but not limited to a day one executive order to end the Internal Revenue Service's unauthorized and wasteful direct file pilot program. The program's creation and ongoing expansion pose a threat to taxpayers' freedom from government overreach, and its rollout and structural flaws have already come at a steep price. Pause there. I wanted to read you this letter so you see the language that they use. Free filing for people is a threat and attack of government overreach. I just want you to see how these spoiled, entitled, oligarchical proxies behave and the language they use to screw us, to screw you. Let's take a look at it. As you know, during the last tax year, the IRS rolled out its direct file pilot program in 12 states, through which taxpayers file their taxes directly to the IRS instead of through trusted accountants or reputable third-party preparation services. Under the guise of offering a convenient, free-to-file alternative preparation service, the IRS itself asserts itself as the tax assessor, collector, preparer, and enforcer all in one when the program is used. So they use this just rhetorical threats and fear-mongering. Oh, the IRS now itself is acting as the preparer and the enforcer. It's just a free online system to make government work. Why are they doing this? The MAGA Republicans want to destroy the IRS. They want to gut the resources because they don't want wealthy people to be audited. They want to reduce the taxes and let wealthy people get away with everything. That's what they're trying to do here. They want to destroy the IRS, destroy people's confidence in the IRS, get people pissed off at it because under President Biden, the priorities have been to focus on stopping billionaire and decamillionaire tax cheats. It goes on to say, this is deeply concerning and a clear conflict of interest. The IRS has little incentive to ensure hardworking Americans do not pay more than they owe in taxes and may instead benefit from families and small businesses paying greater amounts than they are required by law. Furthermore, it is highly inappropriate for the IRS to serve as a tax preparer for taxpayers while also being the final enforcer of tax violations. And then it goes on to say, under the Biden administration, the IRS has undertaken an aggressive expansion of its influence of the IRS, fueled by the exorbitant $80 billion provided by the Inflation Reduction Act, in which it has repeatedly overstepped its authority and targeted hardworking Americans with an increasing number of audits. You see what they're doing there? They're using hardworking Americans and using that as a proxy for what's really happening. No one's being targeted. It's trying to ensure that billionaires pay their fair share. So MAGA Republic, I can go on and read the letter, but you understand. The MAGA Republicans are totally cool with a billionaire's net worth going up 10, 15, 100 times, having people worth 10 billion now be worth 100 billion, then 300 billion, and then so on. That's cool. But including enforcement mechanisms so that our government can be adequately funded. Oh, the MAGA Republicans use all of this language. Look at all these signatures here. You see how they are behaving. I just want to show you right here. This is Daniel Werfel. He's the IRS commissioner now, appointed by President Biden. I want to show you the contrast here. Here's the video he made when he rolled out this free filing system. This guy, by the way, this guy went to my high school, apparently. I didn't realize the background on Danny Werfel. But he's like, look, we're giving people, this is going to help people. You're not going to have to pay these expensive, exorbitant costs. We're giving you the tools for free. Here, play this clip.
Hi, I'm Danny Werfel. I'm the IRS commissioner. Now, the entire IRS team is really excited because for the first time ever, 19 million taxpayers across 12 states can file their taxes online for free direct with the IRS through our new IRS Direct File program. Direct File is available in English, it's available in Spanish, it's free, it's also simple, accurate, and secure. The Direct File program will walk you through filing your return step by step, making sure that you get the credits, the deductions, and the refunds that you're entitled to. Now, if you need to take a break, you can securely sign back on to Direct File and finish your taxes anytime before the April deadline. And there's more. We have customer service reps standing by to help on text. So we have a live text feature. So if you're on Direct File and you have any questions as you're walking through your taxes, just text a live assister right there and we'll give you real-time help with the new Direct File tool. So to learn more, to see if you're eligible, be a part of our pilot in the first year, go to irs.gov. You'll see the link to Direct File, or you can search Direct File on any search engine. And let me close by thanking all taxpayers for doing their civic duty and filing your taxes each.
That's what MAGA Republicans attack. By the way, IRS Commissioner Werfel's term expires in about 3 years, 2027. But Donald Trump is going to try to fire him. Werfel says, I'm not leaving. Trump's going to try to fire him and bring in MAGA Republican Congress member Billy Long. Look at Billy Long's Twitter or X description of himself. It says he's a U.S. Congress member from 2011 to 2023. He's a certified tax business advisor. DM me to save 40% on your taxes. Oh, wait a minute. Is Billy Long someone who runs a company that helps people prepare their taxes, who is actually hurt by a free tax filing system? Maybe that's the conflict of interest right there. Maybe that's the conflict of interest. By the way, this is a video when Billy Long went into Congress. This is his whole shtick. One of the things that Billy Long did, in addition to you can DM him, apparently he believes he'll save you 40% on your taxes if you DM him. How embarrassing. That's the guy they put as the guy advertising services like that on Twitter or X. How you freaking humiliating. Here he is in 2011. His shtick is he was an auctioneer. He ran an auction house. And so he'd always be like $1, $2, $3, $4, $5. This is him right here, Billy Long, in 2011, doing that with the national debt. Play this clip.
We are one of the few people that can actually keep up with the national debt. I'm $1 trillion, $2 trillion, now $3 $3 trillion, now $4 trillion, $5 trillion, $6 trillion, $7 trillion, $8 trillion, now $9 10 $11 trillion, down here $12 trillion, $13. You're out of here. $13 trillion, $14 trillion, now $15. I have sold it $14 trillion. Thankfully, Mr. Speaker, we also can say those numbers backwards. So when we get the spending under control here, I'll be back.
Okay, Billy Long, and okay, all of you MAGA debt hawks. It's just so fascinating that you talk about things like that when it benefits you, but when Donald Trump adds $8 trillion to our national debt, more than anybody before, a third of all of our debt right now in our country comes from Donald Trump. Tax cuts he couldn't pay for, recklessly printing money, the PPP program, where, by the way, they forgave the loans to their rich friends. Those loans were forgiven, not student debt loans, but PPP loans to all of the Republican members of Congress who took out millions of dollars, and all of Trump's friends and cronies who got millions in PPP. That debt, of course, that could be forgiven. You're rich. You get your debt forgiven. When it comes to regular people, you don't get your debt forgiven. Just be clear what's happening here. I want you to direct your anger at the right places, not the wrong places, because they're going to distract you with their culture wars. Blame the trans people, blame the migrants, blame the communists and the Marxist deep state cabal, Soros, wah. No. Be clear where this is coming from. Trump added over $8 trillion in debt. I don't hear him going, $5 trillion, 7 trillion. I wouldn't be a great auctioneer. Let's be clear. But by the way, based on Trump's new policies, economists and the Congressional Budget Office estimated on the high end, Trump will add another $15 trillion in debt. In the medium, Trump will do $7 trillion. On the low end, Trump will add $1.65 trillion to our national debt. Why do I think that he'll add more than the high projection or prediction? I think Trump will probably add about, what's your guess? $20 trillion in debt? $25 trillion in debt? Do you think you'll hear a peep from MAGAs? You think they'll be sending letters about the threats and attacks and all of that? By the way, just take a chart. Take a look at this chart here where Trump added more debt than anybody before him. Let me just leave this here with you. This is President Biden speaking February 5th, 2022, about what his vision of a fair tax code is. And to be clear, this is why all of the corporate media, which is owned by billionaires, attacked Biden, because Biden was saying, look, I want a tax plan that taxes the rich fairly, that they get taxed fairly, and that everybody else is also taxed fairly. But billionaires can't escape their taxes. Listen to this. Play this clip.
We're still going to work on gas prices. We're still going to work on the food prices. But in the meantime, we can deliver that peace of mind to the American people and give them a little breathing room. And by the way, the proposals that I have out there, nobody earning less than $400,000 a year would pay a single additional penny in taxes. Not a single penny. And a lot of companies I've spoken to are willing to pay a little more in their corporate taxes and their personal taxes to see that happen. You've heard me say it 100 times. You got 55 companies of the Fortune 500 companies that paid zero tax the last couple of years. And they made over $400 billion. Look, we can do this without increasing the deficit. Actually, we've reduced the deficit over $300 billion. And 17 Nobel laureates in economics came to me several months ago to say that this plan would not only not raise inflation, it would ease long-term inflationary pressures.
Well, there you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. I thought it was important there that I read you the letter, not just describe it, because I want you to hear the language that these MAGAs are using. Thanks for watching. Let's get to 4 million subscribers. Appreciate it.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other things, too, that it brings up. Okay, when you talk about how the Republicans are always trying to make life more difficult for people, and only because they want to benefit in some way from it. And one of those things I comes to mind is the mail-in ballots. Remember how Republicans were pissed off when after Biden had won the election, they were saying, "Oh, we got to stop mail-in ballots. It makes it too easy for people to vote." Okay, they wanted to get rid of that. Okay, these are the same people, by the way, who are always bitching that we need to shrink the government down so it's more efficient, or streamline it, okay? And yet, when we try to do something, like when we created that direct file system for people to use to file their taxes, which is streamlining the government, right? To make it work better, people were using it. They could, no, they're going to say, no, let's get rid of it. But it's like, you guys, you should be supporting this because this is what you talk about, streamlining the government so it works faster, works easier for people. And no, because it affects the bottom line to some businesses out there, okay? They all got together and said, get rid of it, okay? And then, of course, you know, you got, like I said, the hospital, you know, you had the ACA and all that stuff. And, you know, when it affects businesses' profits, they always go crying to the government to remove these things or stop whatever idea is being floated around. Okay, so with MAGA in the White House, you're not going to get any compassion to your plights out there, okay? You're not going to get it unless you're, you know, part of a big business, okay? Otherwise, they're going to ignore you. And it's really a sign here of how, you know, this country is only going, this government coming in, the Trump government, is only going to make people despise government even more while he's president, because he's going to totally fuck this country up again. All right, and people are going to walk away thinking government can't work. Government can't do this. They can't provide that. And the truth is, government does work when you leave it the fuck alone. Okay? When you stop fucking with it, when you start, you know, injecting your ideas into it that doesn't fit with the principles that the country's founded on, that's, you know, that's what ruins the government. And we've allowed this to go on for, well, a long time, okay? And it's going to be sad, you know, in the history books, that the United States is probably going to be nothing more than a footnote in history, because, you know, our country is almost 250 years old. And in the last 100 years, we have really decimated our own government, you know, by our own hand. We really fucked with it because of corporate greed interfering with how our government works. We let these people in the revolving door into Washington, D.C. with their briefcases full of money, you know, tapping politicians to, you know, do this for me, do that for me. We allowed that to go on, and we never stopped it. Even though we had politicians like Bernie Sanders throwing up red flags saying, this is not good. You can't do this. You keep doing this shit, and we're going to end up being owned. The country's going to be owned by the oligarchs, I guess he called them, the rich people. That's where we are now. That's why I say our democracy is gone. We just proved that in the last election, that oligarchs control the media, and the media controls what we hear and see. And what we hear and see gets twisted in our minds where we think the bad guys are the good guys. Okay, fortunately, that doesn't mean all of us. I mean, I could see through the bullshit. But unfortunately, half of America didn't. And when you got half the country being suckered so easily by these goddamn circus clowns, you know, there's really no hope. Okay? And in another 100 years, there won't be a United States that we know it today. The democracy will be completely gone. There may not even be elections anymore. It'll be just corporate people running a corporate business that runs a corporate government. Okay, you know what I'm saying? It's just going to be that. For those Trek fans out there, it's going to be another step in the direction of being Ferenginar. Okay, we're going to be all like that, where, you know, we don't care about the environment because I'm making money destroying it. Okay, that's why I laughed at the idea that the United States heading up environmental plans to save the planet from climate change, and yet we can't even hold ground to what we believe is climate change, and yet we're supposed to be the ones leading the way. The rest of the world already believes that we're destroying the environment. The United States is the only one that seems to be fighting with itself over that same matter. We're still stuck in first gear. Everybody else is way ahead of us on that. So we sit here and bitch, oh, China's not doing a damn thing about it. China's actually doing more than we are right now about it. Okay? So actually the United States is not doing a fucking thing anymore. And certainly when Trump gets back in there, it's going to do even less. It's certainly not doing a damn thing about the environment. Okay? I'm sorry if that pisses people off, or all that, but we're sitting on options. We have ideas of solutions. And what are we doing to move in those directions? Nothing. Why? Because corporate America, once again, is dictating to the government what they are willing or not willing to do. They don't want us off of fossil fuels. They want us deeply ensconced in it. They even got Biden out there now, talking about, drill, baby, drill, okay, while he was president, opening up all the caps to just to lower the gas prices, okay? That's just another way of him being controlled by the big oil industry by getting him to open up the wells, right? So that way, they can turn around and start drilling some more, right? Then they get mad, or they supposedly are mad, when he opens up the oil reserves and. But the point is that this is all about keeping us tied to the fossil fuel industry. And the more we try to grab onto, renewable energies, the harder they push to keep us fucking tied to fossil fuels. And until this country can actually make a fucking choice on which way we're going to go, we're always going to be fighting back and forth over that, while the rest of the world is already walking ahead of us at a stride, while we're sitting here choking each other to death. Okay? The United States can't lead the world anymore on anything. Okay? We can't do it. We just fucking can't do it. And it's sad, because we were at one time the pinnacle of the world on, innovation and on a lot of things and stuff, and now we got lazy, we got greedy, and we're just exploiting ourselves, exploiting other countries. We've let government we've ignored it. Okay, we haven't done our share of trying to maintain our government and keep it healthy and working right. We've given up on it because one side wants us to feel that way, so that way the corporate giants in this country can lord over us all the more. Well, now they've done it, and now we're fucked. Our government is too small to be able to fight corporate America. And so that's why I'm saying democracy is dead now. Okay? And that election proved it. So now what kind of America are we going to see in another 50 years? I don't know. Okay? But the flag doesn't mean anything anymore. Statue of Liberty doesn't mean anything anymore. Okay? We might as well give the statue back to France. It doesn't represent us, because here we are going to deport immigrants. We don't want people of different colors in this country. Okay? So you're not welcome here if you fall into those categories. We don't want you here. That's what half this country's saying right now. Okay? That's where we are, and it's sad, because this is not the America that I signed up to defend when I went in the Air Force. Okay? I mean, I saw the problems then, and it's even worse today. Okay? And that's over a 35-year period. It fell fast in that time. I know some of you people that weren't born when I went in the military. Okay, you didn't have the privilege of being born in the 70s, being alive today to see how it's all went downhill from there. I have that experience of seeing that, okay, in my lifetime, that the country as it was in the 50s and 60s is really the golden years of America, because everything was going along just fine, and then it just like practically overnight it went right downhill fast, and I think it started right during the Vietnam War, I think, and it was free falling ever since. So yeah, it's terrible that that's where it is, but the country really isn't what it was, and how bad can it get? We're all going to find out. Trump's going to show us how bad can get. And I hope MAGA is ready to swallow their own words, but I'm going to say it to them again, those of you watching. If you're still wearing one of them fucking red hats on your head, if you still have flags, bumper stickers, pictures of Trump on your home, on your vehicle, or wherever, or on your shirt, you better get rid of it, because things are going to get so bad in this country that's going to make you a target. Okay, there's going to be people, just like what happened to that CEO in New York. Now, that guy was pissed off, looking for somebody. It didn't matter what CEO, okay? Didn't matter. Any CEO that would have walked out at that moment probably would have been shot. It just happened to be that man there, and it happened to be a guy that was being investigated, okay? But that's the way it's going to get. I really believe that's what's going to happen. I really believe that. So if you people are smart, and so far you haven't proven that you are, but if you got any brains at all in self-preservation, you will take all that shit and dump it. Because right now, I can tell you there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be waiting to find you when they fall on hard times, and if they see that, anything that says you voted for Trump in any fucking way, okay, that's it. That's it. You know, and you know, when it happens, it'll happen quick. But you know, I'm just saying that that's going to be a problem in the days to come, really soon. So you know, I told that to Melissa's mother, and she's like, "Ah, get the fuck out of here." You know, that's the attitude you get. Can't say I didn't warn her. Can't say I didn't warn her. She'd probably be fine because they live out in the middle of nowhere anyway. So most people up there ain't gonna give two shits about who she voted for. But but around here, yeah, it's probably it'll you know, you don't want to advertise too much anymore. Okay, so anyway, that's it. So that's for today, and I hope everybody has a great weekend. So subscribe, comment, and share, and keep your ears open for health-related matters. And be careful shopping out there. The closer we get to Christmas, the more busy the stores will get. It was pretty busy here, and it's a Friday. It was like 2 o'clock, and it's and every restaurant was already full of parked cars, and the stores are busy. And Christ, I mean, it's pretty bad when you got a line of grocery carts behind you waiting to get trying to get by you at a grocery store. That's how busy it was today. So just be careful out there. Watch where you're driving, okay? I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.